Good morning, James.
How's it going? Good morning.
Fantastic. Good to be on the call with you.
Yeah, good to meet you, Graham.
Fantastic. Did you get a chance to watch my short little video?
I didn't see the full video. I took a quick peep at it and seem to have a good handle on kind of what you're doing, but I'd love to hear some background of how you got to where you are and how you got invested on the multifamily side.
Yeah, very quick. I started out over 22 years ago with a guy called Colin Sheets, No Money Down. I don't know whether you remember him all those years ago. But yeah, I started in multifamily, started with a 5 unit, built up over 100 doors. They're only small ones, the 5, a 12, a 24, 30, a 32, that type of thing. Got my real estate license at the time as well. Made a whole bunch load of mistakes, all sorts of mistakes. And didn't have the money to hire an attorney, as it were. That's one of my biggest mistakes was not having been properly capitalized, just building in the hope that things will work out. Well, don't play that game anymore. Um, back in June, I got knocked out of the game in 2009. I licked my wounds for about 8 years. Renewed
Yeah,
my real estate license. Got back. Thought I'll do the retail side of it. But I was
yeah,
always pulled into the commercial side. Um, with my networking and things, and I have an investor heart. So I took a whole bunch load more of education, well over 100 figures on numerous programs out there. So I know quite a lot of influencers and networks and things like that. And back in July, I found myself in a classroom again in a 3 day workshop on large multifamilies. So these are concentrating on 100 units or more in that space, $10 million up. And it made a lot of sense. Everything I've been through, I lost all my money as well. I've been bankrupt, had all the mistakes probably you can make in real estate, you know.
yeah,
Um, and fully recovered anyway, enough to get back on the horse. It's in my blood. A passion is real estate.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it all made sense. And in that classroom of what I did wrong the first time rounds, the scalability, the management issues, you name it. We could be here all day if I named them all. The game probably.
yeah,
And and thought, oh, this makes a lot of sense. So uh, then the follow-up was a 2 day workshop, then to all the underwriting. It's not like I didn't know it, but it was interesting to see come up to speed again with all the modern tools and the way they look at the figures and everything. We spent quite a long time doing the underwriting and seeing what made sense. So and then only 2 weeks ago, I got a final piece in the jigsaw puzzle, and that is economic legal access. Oh man, now I've got all the pieces because last time when I played the game the first time, it was literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost rent collection and kicking tenants out and bad contractors, you name it. I could have employed an attorney, well, probably an army of attorneys, during that
yeah.
time. So now I've found a way. It's a bit like insurance. Have you come across Legal Shield? Yeah.
Legal Shield, I've run into it a few times. I've never personally worked with it, but I've heard of the platform.
Yeah, you pay a monthly fee. So a bit like
Yeah,
house insurance, right? I mean, we get
yeah,
house insurance because one day there might be a fire, right? I mean, and you pay every month, and you don't have a fire. And you think this is a waste of money, but it's not because one day you might have a fire. Well, a bit like that with legal. You pay a monthly amount, and you've got the attorney in your back pocket. The company are paying a
right.
retainer. So when the attorney calls you, he's not on the clock. And so you get
Right.
best legal advice, and he's been paid. He's not worried about that. He's gonna make sure that you get a good result. So they'll write letters for you on a personal and a business side. So it's absolutely amazing. I should actually let me give you. You can check it out because you'll probably need it yourself if you haven't heard of it. So put that in there. And if I'd known about them the first time round, I would have probably still had all my real estate. It's that much of a difference, you know? So,
Yeah.
so it's astounding. Anyway, um, so that's where I'm at. I haven't actually acquired a large Oh, I wrote two books, Investing in Large Multifamily. They come out, that one comes out next week, and also this one. Demystifying Commercial Real Estate Investing. Both are 15 chapters long, about 190 pages, and they come out on Amazon. So I was busy writing those as well. And I did write another little book, Cautionary Tales about Real Estate Investing, because I put it all down on paper, all the mistakes that I've made, and I've
Yeah.
started my YouTube channel with an educational thread on it. On multifamily investing. So that's me. I don't know whether that answered your question, but
No, it did. Yeah. Thank you for all the background. That's
I could talk about all day. I'm 63 years old, so we could got some stories to tell, but obviously we're not
no,
that much.
it's funny, my wealthiest clients and partners learned a lot of their biggest lessons the hard way. So,
Yeah,
in this realm, there's really not anyone, unless you somehow connect with someone to have a mentor, there's really not anyone to give you real direction. And you kind of have to stick your neck out there. You got to be risky. And sometimes you have to risk it all. Now, there's a smart way to do that, but sometimes you don't know how to do it when you're doing it.
that's exactly right. Yes. So that's
So
why I
I,
was thrilled to find, as I say, Legal Shield, because now, if I have a question, I can call them. They're in my back pocket. It's an app on the phone. You click on it. And
yeah,
that was the major thing I've learned. You need to have built your team out, especially when you're playing in this sort of space,
yeah,
with, millions of dollars, essentially. You've got to have the legal counsel, right? And
yeah,
everything in place. And that's expensive, but with Legal Shield, it's the company's paid the retainer. You pay the monthly thing. So, I mean, I don't
yeah.
know why there isn't any other set. They're the only company that's set up that way. They've been around for 52 years. Isn't that incredible?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a few friends that do use it. I personally have the benefit of CBRE. I built my business over the past 10 years under Marcus and Millichap.
Okay.
And we built a team really only doing retail investment property, shopping centers, and then single tenant net leased assets really nationwide.
Mm,
Um, but we were recruited to CBRE, and CBRE being the largest international commercial real estate firm, we
mm.
pay a large amount of our commission on deals that we do, but
Okay.
we have access to so much in terms of resources for us and for our clients. So, like from a legal standpoint, I've had the
No.
luxury of
Mm.
working with clients and learning from them and what they do, and the contacts that I've had. But then too, CBRE, we have an entire legal department that I can lean on, and part of what I pay in commission goes towards paying for that team. So it's
All right.
it's it's
Well,
very
you
helpful
know
for
what I'm
me.
talking about then. That's hard
Yeah,
to
it's
duplicate, isn't it, for an operator, a small operator, right?
and I've had clients that are, kind of bootstrapping, so I get it. But I've had scenarios where I tell them like, I'll look this over for you, but I'm not an attorney. And so I've seen a lot. I can provide some insight, but like you need real protection and you should engage counsel,
Right.
and they choose not to, and then they get themselves in a tough spot.
Right. Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
it's, that platform's a good alternative to say, like, listen, you need something. You can't
Yeah.
just go out there. The Wild West is dangerous.
Right. Right.
you
Wherever
know?
there's money, it's dangerous. That's what I found swimming in those waters, the sharks, right? I mean, you've got to
Yeah,
watch
right,
out for those sharks, you know?
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're singing my tune, yeah, but you can have it on an individual level as well, personally, as well as business, so you're
Yeah.
well covered. But I'm just, you probably can tell, because I've only just discovered it. I thought, what the heck? I'm telling everybody about it.
Yeah,
It can save you, literally save your business.
right.
So.
Well, my team, I'll just share a little bit about you. For you, what we do, we sell, before we started just doing investment sales of retail properties. Now that we're at CBRE, we have a pretty integrated platform. So it is still all retail. I run the West Coast capital markets for retail properties of Florida. So any shopping center from Naples up through Citrus County in Florida, we're the team that leads any shopping center sale. And then we also sell single tenant net lease properties, and that's really nationwide. It's driven by client demand or where clients want to be.
Mm,
And and then we have a multifamily arm, a big team that handles those deals. But the reason why we started doing these single tenant deals is we've found, like, from an investor cycle standpoint, we've seen a lot of these people that build from the ground up, where you might start in single family, small multifamily, start to kind of scale up to large multifamily.
mm,
And then at some point, we find a lot of those investors who do want to kind of retire from, managing all the doors. They can transition that equity in a 1031 exchange to, say, a shopping center where you convert 200 or 300 doors to, 8 to 12 commercial business tenants. And so it makes it a little easier. And then at some point, a lot of times that investor then wants to eliminate even more of the management responsibility. So instead of doing CAM reconciliations and contracting third parties, they may want to sell that shopping center and do a 1031 exchange into a single tenant Best Buy, or a single tenant, you know, um, Dollar General or Taco Bell, whatever it may be, where you have one tenant and it's passive. They handle everything. You don't have to do any reconciliation. So it's like each of those sectors, and then, you take industrial, you take medical office, all of the sectors have their own pros and cons. And so I really lean on the experts in each of their realm, because my lane's really retail.
mm,
But we've seen a lot of these investors kind of bounce back and forth depending on, the risk tolerance, what they're trying to accomplish long term, kind of what's going on in their life personally. And so we have seen a lot of multifamily sellers move into retail. And so I'm just trying to make a concerted effort to connect with more people that are in the multifamily space and see if there's ways to collaborate or find deals together or opportunities together. And
mm.
so that was really the reason for connecting directly.
Yeah, well, thank you for your time. Certainly, it's nice to meet you, and I remember those who are me. So um, yeah, what we do with the large multifamily though is we just do the asset management. We don't do the
Got it.
daily management. We employ
Yeah.
the very best management company for that particular market. So that's how we do it. So we don't get fed up with managing the multifamilies.
Yeah.
That's the game I played in the first round, as I told you my story. Don't like
Yeah.
that, definitely. Apart from the wasted time in court and chasing tenants and everything else,
Right.
that is not my game anymore, certainly, and but you can't do it with smaller uh, units unless you do syndication between operators. So
Right.
that's really not my space. So, well, I will. I mean, I am looking at. I work with a realtor in town who's been doing real estate since the early 1980s. he's in the commercial space. He has a Rolodex of people looking for gas stations, convenience stores, hotels, motels, coin laundry, that sort of thing. Uh,
Yeah.
so, and we're talking to doctors right now. It's a couple of doctors who are building a 9 unit um, shopping mall type of thing. About that, they're in the middle of project of building that. So here in town. So I do have regular connections. So what is would your capacity be in disposition then or acquisition? What's
It's interesting. These assets, people aren't, selling them every day because obviously there's usually a business plan tied to it. So while, a large part of our business is on the investment sales side and dispositions or helping buyers to acquire, really the bulk of our business is advising on business plans. So basically analyzing the asset, how do we help you maximize value while you own it?
mm,
Because the exit strategy may not be very defined. Maybe you do have a clear 7 to 8 year hold period, but maybe you plan to leave it to your kids, or maybe you plan to kind of ride it out. You like the real estate enough that maybe there's a redevelopment play in the future. So it's
mm,
kind of a moving target in terms of an exit. So usually a lot of times we'll get involved with ownership maybe a couple years into their ownership where it might be pretty easy for them and hands off for them, but they might not be, strategically holding it and maximizing value as best as they could. So we'll
mm,
take a look at it. We'll identify, what expenses are higher than market that we could help you, trim down on. Where are market rents and where are there opportunities for you to maybe bump some rents? Um, and then, from a return on equity standpoint, like where's your value today? What's your current debt situation on the deal? Is there an opportunity for either a cash out refi to redeploy into other deals tax free, or what would be the ideal exit based on where we identify ways to add value? We might say, listen, based on everything we're looking at, X, Y, and Z is what you should do in the meantime. And the ideal exit we anticipate is in about 7 years. And then we, every year we kind of take a look at that, see where the market's changed, see what things have changed with the asset, and then evaluate that business plan accordingly. And traditionally, our exit, like our target exit from initial business plan to when they exit, probably varies 2 to 3 years, depending on, maybe the market just starts to strike and you're a couple years early, but you're like, the value's there. We should exit now and transition.
right.
Or alternatively, maybe something happens where you're like, hey, there's another piece of value that popped up we can add. It's going to take a little bit of time. So let's push the business plan out.
Mm,
So a large part of what we do is advising on that sense. And then hopefully that, allows us to compete for the business on the disposition when it comes time.
okay, very good. Yeah, because on our large multi-family, the plan is 3 to 5 years. Certainly for the first nine
Yeah.
to 18 months is stabilization. Getting the and then doing the value adds, and by year three, we're pretty much most of the way. Usually
Yeah.
we can sell at any time between the 3 and the 5 year mark to buy out the investors,
Right.
so put up the capital. But
Retail tends to be a little longer than that, only because, the benefit that you have on multifamily is that the tenant turnover can
yeah,
happen so quickly that you can add that value a lot
right.
quicker. A
Yes,
lot of
that's
the
right.
retail leases can be 3, 5 plus years.
Right.
So it usually takes a little turn to turn those over and maybe bump
Absolutely.
the market rents.
Yes.
Um, but it's interesting. Same as you, like it's in my blood. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
I love the real estate game.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
always good to connect with similar like-minded people.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a fascinating area. I think if you live to be 1,000 years old, you never learn it all.
Right.
And
Right.
every
Exactly.
story is unique, isn't it? Every time you do a interaction or deal, it's unique and
Yeah.
it's different flavors. And I think it's much like a jigsaw puzzle, putting these things together. All the different components and moving parts, and It's you never get bored in it. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah. Well, thank you for your time, James. It's been a thrill. Certainly, I've got my link here. You can book another call with me if you so feel so inclined. And if
And
you,
before we leave, how else can I help you, or what else are you looking for, or looking to get connected with that I might be able to help you on?
yeah, well, as I say, I'm on a mission to get people aware of this legal counsel. If you do know of anyone,
Okay.
pass them along to the website, put in the chat there because um, it will could save their business. As I say, it's outstanding. And if you find yourself referring a lot, you could join as an associate on a personal level, and you can build up that residual income. So there is that side of it,
Got it.
within your
Okay.
connections, you could certainly do that, So try it out. See,
Did
it's
you
what
know that
you do.
Amazon has a 50?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was pulling up your YouTube.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll check this out. And yeah, if there's anyone I can refer for you, definitely I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, thank you. And that keeps the
Are you?
relationship going, doesn't it? It keeps you in mind and things. And because I know my guy, the guy I'm working with, his name is Zafar Roback. If you Google his name, is in Who's Who in the World. He was Who in America 3 years running, and he's mixed with kings and queens. So
Hmm.
he's called a motel man. He deals with
Okay.
hotels and motels and as well as the other commercial space. So I'm going to mention to him. We work on a daily basis. So I'll mention to him that we've met, on what
Yeah.
we do, and he'll be
And
interested.
I forget, remind me where you are geographically.
I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Knoxville.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, we do in Tennessee, we do a fair amount of volume too because it's one of the income tax-free states. Although you have to work through a different entity and it's a little more cumbersome, we
mm,
get a lot of buyer demand in Tennessee for sure.
yeah, yeah. But we would look at Florida. We're a little bit nervous about where it's vulnerable to hurricanes. I mean, you got one
Yeah,
right now to Florida, right? In a few days' time. So
we're prepping right now for it. My wife wants me to pull all the furniture up out of the backyard. So
yeah, and it looks like it'll be a Cat 3 when it hits. So
yeah,
they're predicting, so it's going to be nasty. So keep
yeah,
safe. Yeah. All
I
right.
will.
Thank you,
Well,
James.
it's
Yeah.
good to meet you, Graham.
And you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye.